we're out here. It's time, folks. We got more fights to break down. Finally, another good card, and it's pay-per-view one this go round. So let's not belabor the point. Let's just get straight into this. This weekend we've got UFC 316. Merab Dvalishvili, the Machine, defends his title against old Sugar Sean O'Malley, the man he stole or wrested it from, or however you want to say that. It's a okay card. It's not like the most stacked card of all time. It's decent. I think it's like 12 fights on here. It's regular pay-per-view time, at least regular around these parts. It's 9 Central Time. We do have a set of prelims, and we've got a set of early prelims as well. Per usual, we will not be breaking down every single fight on the card. We're going to break down mostly just the ones that we're interested in. The ones with some shit on the line. And just the ones that I fucking want to break down. So that's how that goes. Let's get it into her here. Early prelims. We've got Quillen Salkid versus Yanal Ashmuz. We've seen both guys. I think we've seen them maybe like once or twice. It's not like we've seen a ton of fights from these fucking guys here. I think old Sherdog's going to be slow as balls tonight. 8-1, 8-1. Pretty similar careers here. We'll see if this thing wants to pop up for us. 6 foot against 5'9". It's a bit of a height discrepancy. Pretty solid reach discrepancy as well there. Quillen's a fucking pretty heavy favorite. Why is this thing taking forever to load? Alright, well, we're not going to dick around too much for Sherdog tonight because it's been slow every time I try to get on here and look stuff up. But luckily, I took notes on the fights that we actually give a shit about. Jekka Saragi versus Juseng Yu. The guy's a 5-1 favorite, so you gotta think he's decent. Oh, here we go. Quillen, 3-3-2. He's lost one time by submission. It was all the way back in 2021, 4 years ago. Very beginning of his pro career, it looks like. This Jekka Saragi versus Juseng Yu fight. I don't know, dude. I don't really care either. Fuck it. Moving on. Ariane De Silva versus Wang Kong. Everybody, Wang Chung tonight. I lean towards Wang as well. Minus 510. There's a little crazy odds, but I do think she's probably going to be getting it done here. Most likely by decision. I don't know if she's going to go out there and put away Ariane De Silva, who's no slouch. Yeah, it's a good chance for her to break into the top 15 as well. So let's see Wang, the Joker, go out there. She's got real crisp striking, decent power. She's very fast. She's got like a nasty streak in her too, which you like to see. You don't see that sometimes in the women's divisions, like these lower weight classes and stuff. And she seems to have it. She's got a nice little mean streak to her. Now Ariane Silva has a pretty significant experience advantage, so you kind of worry. All right, well, is she gonna go out here and maybe drag Wang Kong into deep waters, get a takedown, and work some ground game on her, because that's kind of the blueprint to beat Wang. You think she would have the experience to do it. So I'd leave this fight alone, especially for the odds. It's entirely too lopsided to make much money on. You could maybe do the over 2.5. Aside from that, I don't know that I would be dicking around with it too much. I'd probably leave her alone. Moving on, Markel Medeiros versus Mark Chowinski. I don't really know a whole hell of a lot about old Chowinski here. It's like every time I get this thing to load, by the time it does, I've already moved on to the next one. Conor McGregor surprises Laura Sanko with a gift? What the fuck? What were we looking up here? Markel Medeiros versus Mark Chowinski. Where is this guy? Mark Chowinski. 8-0. Decent record at least. 8's a decent amount of fights too. It's not like he's 2-0. I'm undefeated. It's like 8 and undefeated. It's like, oh, okay. 29 years young, 5'8", 155. He's from Milwaukee. Or if he trains out there, I think that's where the Pettis boys are from. John Ramirez, sub. John Simon, decision. Oh, yeah, case in point, it's on the Anthony Pettis Fight League. That's funny. He's got a lot of subs. Doesn't seem like he's going out there and just fucking blasting dudes in the striking department. What are the odds on this one here? Medeiros, minus 220 favorite. I mean, it's a pretty stout debut to be making there. Trained with Rufus Sport, so he even trains with those guys. I'm taking this pouch out before it kills me. All right, moving on. We have the first fight of the regular prelims. Chaos Williams versus Andreas Gustafsson. Here's Markel Medeiros. I don't really know a ton about old Andreas Gustafsson. We've seen Chaos Williams fight a fuckload of times, but don't know a ton about Andreas Gustafsson here. So that's probably the last of the fights that we're going to be cruising right on past, or at least for the most part. Chaos Williams is always has the power option, so you could maybe take him inside the distance. I don't know exactly what the odds are on this one. Just if you were like killing for a play there at minus 190. I mean, honestly, money line's decent if you really do think he's going to win. I don't know a ton about this guy, though, like I said. There's Wing Kong with her Joker face paint. Andreas Gustafsson. The name sounds familiar. I feel like I have seen one of his fights. We'll see. Anyway, first real fight that we are going to take a look at and that I got some notes on will be the heavyweight bout. Number 7, Sergey Spivak, the polar bear, goes against number 11, Waldo Cortez Acosta. We are a Waldo Cortez fan in his house. This is a Waldo Cortez Acosta household. So I'm going to try and remove my bias from it some. He's just cool as fuck. He's been cool to me several times on Instagram. We've kind of chit-chatted back and forth. And I saw him here in St. Louis when he came and fought, and sent him some of the pictures and the video and shit that I got from the fight. And he reposted it and all this shit. Sent me a movie trailer, too, randomly. That was kind of weird. As far as the matchup goes, though, Sergey Spivak is coming off a TKO loss. Oh, here we go. This thing ain't even going to load now. There we go. Andreas. 8 knockouts, 2 subs. That's pretty good. Old Sergey Spivak, though, back to him. Let's stay on task. Coming off a TKO loss to Jelton Almeida. Prior to that, it was an armbar sub over Marcin Tybura, who is no slouch in the grappling department, so that's a pretty decent one. And then prior to that, he had a TKO loss to Cyril Gane. That fight against Jelton Almeida had moments of success, moments where he was in dominant positions and really was winning the fight there. And then Jelton would get the sweeps on him. He had a pretty nice sweep. I think he had like a half guard. He reached over, grabbed Spivak's ankle, drug it out from underneath him, swept him, got on top, and just beat the fuck out of him. I think a lot of his game, his grappling, is getting by on physicality. He doesn't strike me as like the most technically sound dude. He's decent, but it's a lot of his shit. I think he's just a big old dude. He was a younger, strong guy, so I think he was just muscling a lot of guys. Now that he's running into upper echelon, he's getting out grappled in some of these exchanges, particularly by guys who actually know what the hell they're doing. He's orthodox, got a little bit of a longer stance, so he does get chewed up with those low kicks at times. Like I said, he's got decent throws, decent trips. He likes to do kind of the classic, like get the body lock, step to the outside, and drag it out with like a hip kind of dump type deal there, hip throw. Not the most physically gifted dude either. I think, like I said, he was big and probably outsizing a lot of guys in the gym, and now that, again, he's in the upper echelon where some of these dudes are physical freaks, like Jelton Almeida, you can see the difference in the horsepower. It's pretty telling. Not the fastest guy. Pretty positionally strong on the ground, like he likes to maintain position and stuff. Not doing like these big fancy passes or going for like crazy leg lock submissions or anything like that. He likes to stay heavy, get like a top half guard and kind of pound you out. And last but not least, I think he's one of these dudes that certainly does better as the hammer. He does not like to be the nail very well. He seems to wilt pretty quickly under pressure. Yeah, I think he likes to be the hammer mainly. Going against our boy, though, here in Waldo Cortez Acosta. He's 33 years old, so Spivak has a slight age advantage for 3 years. 13-1. He's coming over a TKO win over Ryan Spann, which we took him in, and I think we even took him inside the distance. He also derailed Robelis to Spain, which was an excellent fight. Really showed some fight IQ, staying away, stifling Robelis' crazy power and speed, working his own game, landing the low kicks and chewing him up with the jabs and stuff. He's a big athletic heavyweight. He used to play baseball, from what I understand. Got real quick hands. A little basic in his boxing. It's not like he's doing crazy, like spinning back fists and shit like that. He's doing a lot of clean, classic boxing. But he's good at it, and it lands well. So why would you? I mean, why not? Got a nice jab, nice little low kick, straight right from the orthodox stance is pretty nasty as well. This is a tough fight for me. I think. Whoops. I kind of lean towards my boy Waldo Cortez Acosta. I don't know that Spivak is going to be enough on the ground to finish Cortez, and so long as he can keep it standing or get back to his feet, I think he can get the win. So I'm gonna go Waldo. We're gonna take Cortez Acosta. We're gonna ride with him. 13-1. We're gonna say he's gonna take the number 7 spot, maybe even get a knockout or something. We're going with the big man. Got quite a weight advantage as well. You'd like to think that would maybe play some kind of factor in the fight. And Sergey Spivak, he's not fully one-dimensional, but he's a little one-dimensional. It's kind of obvious what he wants to do. So you would think Waldo would be working that game plan accordingly and working on stuffing those takedowns, getting back to his feet if he does get a takedown, staying positionally safe on the ground so he doesn't give up the submissions, so on. Next up, Azamat Murzakanov versus Brinson Ribeiro. I don't really give a shit about this fight. It's two guys that I don't know a ton about. I've seen probably 2 of Murzakanov's fights, and I've seen several of Brinson Ribeiro's. I lean towards Ribeiro here. I think he's got the power. Could potentially get it done for the odds this plus 410. Azamat should be the favorite, but we're talking a 2-1 favorite, not a 5, almost 6-1 favorite. So I would take Ribeiro for the upset, some kind of knockout, something like that. You're probably gonna get crazy money on it. Only sprinkle a little bit. Azamat should win, but I think he's a live dog, at least for those odds. That's a little lopsided, in my opinion. Bruno Silva versus Joshua Van. The next one that we actually did some breaking down on here. Let's pull this up. So we got Bruno Silva. He's 35 years old, number 12 in the division. He's 14-6. He's coming off a TKO loss to Manel Kopp. No slouch, nothing to shake a stick at. Manel Kopp's probably second best in the world at that division, so it's all right, you can't be too upset about that. TKO win over Cody Durden prior to that, which was pretty nasty. He's orthodox, almost has a bladed, kind of like a karate type stance, at times almost Stephen Wonderboy-esque. Does kind of the open hands, does the patty cake a little bit while switching stances, does the hand fighting. He's got a good jab to the body. He fights fairly short, though. When he was throwing hooks and stuff, I noticed he wasn't doing these big, long, looping hooks. He's very tight, very short, not covering a ton of distance. His head and chin gets a bit upright and kind of hangs out on the center line in the pocket, so I think he's susceptible to being caught. Now, will his chin hold up? That's maybe a different story altogether, but I do think he's susceptible to getting caught by people with good hands. Not the greatest wrestling and shots. He was doing some naked double legs from pretty far outside against Manel Kopp. I think maybe he was getting chewed up and starting to get a little bit desperate, but those were pretty shitty takedown attempts there a couple times. Likes the front kick, nailed Kopp 3, 4, I think it was 3 times in the dick. He did end up actually even getting a point taken away for it as well. He's got a hard chopping rear low kick when he does choose to fire it. Mr. Silva does. Not the fastest guy in the world. The Bulldog. Been KO'd twice, subbed once, 3 decision losses. So he's going against the young gun here in Joshua Van. He's 23 years young, 12 years younger than Bruno Silva. That's fucking insane. He's more than 50% younger than, or it's more than 50% of his age, I should say. It's not 50% younger. He's about a third younger, but yeah, that's insane, dude. Joshua Van, young buck, not even 24 years old. October, he'll be 24. Good God. Already has 15 pro fights, 6 by knockout, 6 wins by knockout, 2 wins by submission, 5 by decision. He's been knocked out once and subbed once. Knockout was to our boy CJ Charles Johnson. Prior to that, it was to Devin Jackson, the sub, back in 2021. 3 decisions though in a row. The latest over Ray Saruya, who no slouch in the wrestling department. Shot about a bazillion times against Joshua Van, who got a good chance to try to fight a little bit smarter than he normally does instead of going out there and putting on a show. You run the risk of gassing yourself out against a good grappler and getting finished late. He was able to stay in there, work some good grappling, kind of work his fight IQ a little bit and stuff, game plan, fight a little bit smarter, which was nice to see. Does favor the shootout a little bit, though. He's openly said he'll prefer the exciting, crazy fights over the technical chess matches, so to speak. He wants to be a fan favorite. Wants to be a Justin Gaethje, I believe. Orthodox stance, though. He's got good hard low kick, good straight shots, decent power. It's not like crazy power, but it's pretty decent. Had a pretty good hip sprawl against that Ray Soria, though, like I was talking about. Good frames when he was getting taken down or when they were getting clinched up. Good frames to create the distance and scramble back up to his feet when he was taken down. Clearly seems to be pretty hard to hold down. Real good forward pressure as well. The Fearless is a pretty apt nickname. Dude likes to press forward. Come after you. Put it on your bitch ass. I kind of favor Joshua Van here. I don't necessarily know by KO or anything. Look at minus 550, minus 550. Well, clearly those odds are jacked up. I would say actually probably by decision if I had to take a guess. There it is. I'm like, am I blind here? Okay, so he's a minus 550 and Bruno Silva's plus 390. So I would say probably decision's the way to go there with Mr. Van. Let's put that in my notes. Van decision, probably. Now, that said, Bruno Silva is no slouch. At plus 390, you might as well put a third of a unit on it just to hedge it. We say Van decision, hedge with Silva. 0.3 units. Call her now. Silva's no slouch. If Joshua Van goes out there and gets crazy with it and fights sloppy, it would not surprise me at all if Silva either catches him or uses his vet craftiness and gets a win with this one. So we'll see. Van should win this by decision, though. Next up, first fight of the main card. Couple guys, couple fan favorites. We have Vicente Luque. Kevin versus Kevin Holland, old big mouth. Luque, the man, really used to fucking be real high on this guy, and unfortunately, I think the wars have kind of gotten to him a little bit. He's been in a couple real bad wars here. If I remember right, the one was Jeff Neal or Neil? No, it wasn't Neil Mag. Could have been Neil Mag. It had to be Jeff Neal, who put like a pretty bad beating on him. I think he even had like brain swelling or something like that. And they were talking about him not fighting anymore, but since then he's just not looked the same. Stylistically, pretty meat potatoes type of fighter. Does throw like some crazy stuff once in a blue moon when he gets confident or gets comfortable out there. He'll change it up a little bit, but a lot of it's kind of your basic striking, your occasional high kick. It's got a real hard low kick. He'll throw several times and then go upstairs. Kind of an orthodox stance. Got a little bit of a higher guard, which in turns, sometimes leaves his body open. Grappling wise, pretty sound. Not like the greatest wrestler on planet Earth. Pretty good on the ground though with the jiu-jitsu. He's one of these guys too that once he like locks up a submission on you, I think he's just got nasty squeeze, real nasty squeeze. So he's not like the most technically sound dude, not like world-class jiu-jitsu, but if he does lock something up on you, that's probably a wrap. He's definitely got a handful of submissions in his tool belt that he can go to that are probably pretty damn sharp. Good power though too. Decent head movement. I would like to see it be a little bit better. In the past, I think he relied a little bit too much on that chin of his, and now maybe is paying dividends for it a little bit, or paying the bill on it, I guess I should say. But going against the guy here, Mr. Kevin Holland, big mouth, kung fu fighter. Both these guys, tons of experience. Usually, Luque has a little bit of a edge on the experience on guys, but then you got Kevin Holland, who also typically has that edge. And they're going against each other here with pretty comparable records. Height advantage goes to Kevin Holland. Reach advantage goes to Kevin Holland, who doesn't actually fight super long. Does some stabbing straights and stuff like that, but a lot of times he'll get in there and get some clinch going. Or he favors the grappling as well. Jiu-jitsu black belt, I believe. He's got quite a few submissions, but coming off a decision win over Gunnar Nelson, Mr. Kevin Holland's 32 years old, so only a year difference between the two of these guys. Kind of an upright stance. He's long, like I said. Got decent range. Does the good stabbing straights and stuff, then gets in the clinch, hits you with the elbows. Okay kicks. He doesn't really throw them like a crazy amount with the volume. He kind of a little more selective with those, but usually when he throws them, they're pretty nice. Okay power, not super like crazy knockout power. I think it's more of a speed and kind of catching you off guard type of thing. You know, they always say it's the shots that you don't see that hurt you and all this. I think he's kind of more in that wheelhouse, that school of fighting, I guess you could say. Does get caught though a little bit. His hands get down. He gets a little overconfident, and that upright stance with his chin up a little bit. He does get caught occasionally and get sat down, which I actually think Luque could potentially do that in this fight. God, both of these guys also are susceptible to not looking great sometimes, and then other times showing up and looking fucking phenomenal. So it's kind of a question of which version of both of these guys shows up this night. I would probably leave this fight alone. Man, I'd leave this fight alone. Just watch this one and enjoy it. Luque's a live dog here. Could potentially get something done. You could always take him and then maybe Holland decision or something like that. But I would probably leave this fight alone unless you're going to play the underdog just for the value, personally. Just enjoy it. There's plenty of times where if you're unsure on a fight, I feel that it's the wiser decision to just sit back and enjoy it instead of putting money on an unsure bet and basically losing it. Next up, Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer. We've broken this fight down, I think, 2 times now. This is a rescheduled fight from another card. I think they were in Mexico and Joe Pyfer got sick, but then supposedly like half the fucking card did. So who knows? You got Mr. Gastelum, though. Ultimate Fighter, alumni. Dude's been around for fucking forever and yet is still 29, 19-9, depending on which record you go off of. I don't know what the hell's up with that. Oh, it's probably the Ultimate Fighter shit. But again, another guy who kind of just depends on who shows up that night. Kelvin Gastelum at one point in time looked like a world beater. Had a crazy fight with Israel Adesanya where he hurt Izzy. Now, he was a punching bag for quite a bit of that fight, but stayed in there. Good fight with Uriah Hall. Great striking, kind of a meat potatoes fighter. Again, not the most flashy guy on planet Earth, throwing a lot of 1-2s, but he's got good power. Southpaw too, so he's landing that straight left. That's just thunderous down the middle at times. He'll catch dudes and just sit them down with it. Good jab. Like I said, he had a granite chin back in the day, but another guy who perhaps relied on it a bit much. Now, he's never been knocked out, but he does seem to be getting maybe stunned a little bit more. Getting stung by some of these guys. He's going against old body bags here. Joe Pyfer, 28 years old, so a little bit of an age advantage for Mr. Joe Pyfer. Big old bastard. 13-3, Mr. Pyfer. Body bags. Big powerhouse. Coming off the KO win over Marc-Andre Barriault, power bar, who he basically face planted. Tons of power, like I mentioned. Orthodox stance. Got a real hard low kick. Nasty fucking lead left hook. He'll step into it sometimes, or he'll step back and hit it on the counter. Just in general, that left hook is nasty. Good body shots occasionally. Got a good jab. I wish he would use it a little bit more and maybe not throw so much power behind everything. Body bags has a lot of potential. I just think he needs to get a little bit better fight IQ, a little more experience and kind of shot selection, things like that. Because I actually think he has good movement as well, but he tends to opt to plant and throw the power shots, but he's actually really springy and really light on his feet. And it's like, man, you've got good movement if you'd use that a little bit more. Dance around some of these guys, set up your shots, pepper the jab from the outside, chew him up with the leg kicks and stuff. I think he could easily do that. He's got good grappling. He's strong enough to shuck these guys off him as well. Like, there's no reason we couldn't switch this up and have maybe a little less fan-friendly fight style, but I think he would. This guy could be a world beater if he would tighten it up a little bit. Good pressure he puts on people. Kind of a nice measured stepping forward where he's just chewing up ground as well. This is a fight. I think, man, it's again another one. This is a night for dogs. I could see Kelvin Gastelum catching Joe Pyfer and hurting him. Conversely, I could also see Joe Pyfer catching Gastelum and being the first one to finally put him away. Or going for a submission or something. Shit, I don't know, man. This is a rough one. Maybe do we leave this one alone again? You take Joe Pyfer, maybe submission or inside the distance. Pyfer. I'd have to see once these other props come out and stuff, see what kind of props we want to play. But again, another fight where you could just sit back and enjoy this one. This one's going to be a fun fight. I think this could be fight of the night right here. These dudes are probably going to beat the fuck out of each other. I could definitely see that one going down. We'll see. We'll see which one shows up. Old Gastelum, real hit or miss sometimes. But either way, if I had to pick somebody, I guess I would pick Pfeiffer, given the age advantage and just how hit or miss Gastelum is in the wars he's been in and everything. But I think Gastelum again's a live dog. Moving on, co-main event of the evening and the first title fight of the evening, the women's bantamweight title on the line. We have the champ Julianna Pena versus Kayla Harrison. We got 13-5 against 18-1. Good God, what a record! We'll start with the champ, Miss Pena. Dang, is this going to start working now quickly? Yeah, it is. All right. 35 years old, 12-5. She's got 3 knockouts, 5 subs, 4 decisions. She's been KO'd once, subbed twice, 2 decision losses. Coming off the decision win over Mrs. Raquel Pennington to get the title back, I guess I should say. Man, what say about old Pena? All around, I kind of think she's a terrible fighter. She's got an orthodox stance, pretty high guard. She kind of like tilts forward and has this whole thing going here. She's got a giant head. She's got an okay jab. She closes her eyes when she swings, though. She kind of shells up a little bit. She's pretty slow. Grappling-wise, she's okay. She's not... She has decent takedowns. She gets the body lock and steps around to the side and kind of does the hip toss and dragging them to the ground or sticking her legs in, kind of tangling them up and get the takedown. I'd like to see her get a little bit better at dominating positionally on the ground. There's quite a few times where she'll be on the ground and start trying to go over something and lose position. I'd also like to see her stop closing her eyes when she throws and gets in these shootouts and stuff. I think maybe she'd land a little bit better. She actually is pretty stiff when she throws. Like, she has stiff straights and decent power. She throws herself off balance a little bit, but I mean, that's part of it. She's throwing so hard, she's throwing herself off balance. So we could work on a couple things. Pena could be better, but at 35 years old and how long she's been in the game and stuff, I don't see any changes here. She's going against Miss Kayla Harrison, the Olympian. Kayla, 34 years old, came from PFL. She's a judoka. I think she's like the first American to get gold in judo in the Olympics or some shit. She did it twice. She's a very dominant fighter. Kind of a powerhouse grappler, not powerhouse in the striking, but she used to be like 2 weight classes bigger over in PFL and has since trimmed up, dropped down quite a bit. Really favors the grappling. Unfortunately, it's actually not a super fan-friendly fight style. She'll push chicks against the cage, kind of shoot in like a double leg, drag them to the ground, do a ground and pound, TKO kind of fight style. She's not going for a ton of submissions and stuff. She'll get him, but it's not like she's chasing these all over the damn place. She'll just get him if they're giving it to her. She's more happy to stay positionally sound and grind you out on the ground. She's built like a brick shithouse. I think she's probably gonna have a power advantage here. Southpaw stance, speed wise, I think it's pretty comparable. Pena's probably gonna land on her some. It's hard to say, man. I think Kayla's probably the better grappler, probably stronger. If she gets Pena to the ground, she's probably going to be able to wear on her pretty good here. The question is, does she gas out due to the extreme amount of weight that she's cutting? And does Pena turn it around late? I think that's very possible. The bet here would be Kayla Harrison, maybe by decision or money line. Well, money line, she's probably a huge favorite. Yeah, she's a huge favorite. You could parlay her with somebody and then hedge it out with Julianna Pena. You could do Pena sub inside the distance. You could do round 4 or 5, 3, 4, 5, do something like that, do it late. But I do think Kayla Harrison's probably going to take this one home. 3, 4, 5, there you go. Do a third of a unit on any of those. And then we'll see what kind of props you got there. But Kayla Harrison should win this. Like I said, she's the better grappler. She's pretty comparable in the striking department. She's probably going to have the physicality advantage. I could definitely see her pressuring Pena up against the cage, dragging her to the ground, and just outworking her on the ground, man. Grinding her out, pounding her out. Now, so long as she doesn't gas, rinse, repeat until she either gets the finish, Pena gives up the submission potentially, or she then gets... I guess the tide's turn on her if she gasses out and Pena comes back. That's about the only way I could see this playing out. Harrison's going to rinse, repeat, take down, ground and pound, beat shit out of her. We'll see. We'll see. Julianna Pena could fucking pull off something crazy again, but I just don't see it happening. Kayla Harrison leaves with the bantamweight strap. And then the main event, last but not least, I'm kind of pumped for this fight. I know it wasn't exactly what all the fans wanted for Merab next. Not necessarily earned, per se, rematch from Sean O'Malley, but I still think it's a fun one. And I think the first fight was a little bit closer than some people may realize or may want to admit. But you got Merab Dvalishvili, the Machine, 19-4, the Georgian Machine. Let's see, I think he's like 33, 34, something like that now. What to say about Merab? Insane cardio, first and foremost. The Machine is a perfect moniker. Decent striking, gets a little reckless, a little sloppy with it, but I think that actually plays into his style a little bit. He's like the Tasmanian Devil. The dude's relentless pressure, insane cardio, nonstop barrage of takedowns, real good throws, got good wrestling, kind of mixes it up with the judo and the wrestling very well. And then once he's done that a couple times, he can start opening up on the striking and really, really mixing it up on you. And by that point, you're so confused, you're so overloaded on what's coming at you. He starts landing pretty much at will on you. I mean, he was able to land on Umar towards the end of their fight. He was landing on Piotr Jan some. Stifled Jose Aldo, but I don't blame him for that one. Who doesn't want to do that? Yeah, man, just a dominant fucking champ. One of the most impressive records in the game. There's not really a ton I can say about Dvalishvili that hasn't already been said. The guy's well on his way to being a bantamweight GOAT. It's pretty wild. Going against the guy here, though, in Sugar Sean O'Malley, 18-2, 5'11" to Merab's 5'6", 72-inch reach to his 68-inch reach. 30 years old, so slight age advantage to Suga. 12 knockout wins, 1 sub, 5 decisions. Been knocked out once, 1 decision loss. That would have been to Merab. It's his last fight, September of last year. So he's been out for a hot minute, probably creeping in on like the 9-month mark or so. Actually, yeah, almost exactly 9 months. Fantastic striking from Sean O'Malley. He's a very dynamic striker, very fast. Doesn't telegraph almost at all, so it's really, really hard to see what's coming at you. Again, it's the shots you don't see coming that hurt you, and he's extremely good at that. Grappling, perhaps a little bit underrated from Sean O'Malley. I actually think he's got pretty good submissions. Pretty good at getting back to his feet as well. The wrestling defense could use a little bit of work, but against guys like Merab and shit, you're always going to look like you need a little bit of work in the wrestling department. And against maybe, anybody else with a slightly lower pedigree of wrestling, Sean O'Malley would look just fine. And more than makes up for it in the striking. Supposedly in the first fight, Sean O'Malley had that hip injury as well, so perhaps that'll make a difference in this one. He's had quite a bit of time off to try and shore up some of those gaps in his game against Merab. Also looks a little bit bigger. Looks like he's put on a little bit of muscle, so we'll see. Hopefully that doesn't impact his weight cut, his cardio, any of those factors. I would say Merab's probably going to win this fight again at minus 270. You could probably take Merab by decision. Hedge it with Sean O'Malley inside the distance. Sean did hurt him in the first fight, stung him a couple times on the feet, but then in that final round, hurt him to the body pretty good. So not outside the realm of possibility that Sean O'Malley gets an upset. Pops Merab to the body and gets the win. I do think Merab probably going to win. I don't know that it's just real hard to make up a lifelong skill set like Merab has in the grappling department. That while Sean O'Malley has been working hard at it and treats it like a professional, he's a professional athlete. How are you going to make up for a lifetime of working on something? I just don't know that you can. So I'm going to go with Merab. Wouldn't surprise me if Sean gets it done. I would recommend you perhaps hedge it with like a third of a unit on Sean inside the distance, something like that. But I'm going Merab. I'm a Merab fan, though, so what can I say? That is it. UFC 316 in the bag. That's the breakdown for it. We'll put out our bets on Twitter like we normally do. I generally try to put those out after weigh-in so we can kind of see how that whole deal plays out. See if everybody makes weight and just how they look on the scales, because the weight cut, the weigh-ins, I think that's perhaps an at times understated factor in the fight. But Either way, hope everybody enjoys the card. Throw me a follow or subscribe. Like the shits, comments on the shits. Hit me up on Twitters. That's it. Thanks for watching, folks. Peace out.